Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. Today I'm going to be sculpting another chicken pot, but today I'm going to be using a pot that I threw on the wheel a couple days ago. I've given it a couple days to kind of set up and be a little more firm so that I can work with it. So let's go ahead and get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is flip this thing over and smooth out the bottom from where it was in the plastic bag, and I'm going to sign my name on the bottom because I don't want to be trying to do stuff on the bottom when I have a giant chicken sitting on the top. It's just not convenient. So the first thing I'm going to do is form this chicken's body. This is going to be a rooster, and I want him to have kind of a tall upright pose with his chest sticking out. So I'm just shaping that right now. It was a little tricky because the body is longer than my fingers, so I had to get in there with the tool. So now I'm just going to slip and score both sides of this rooster and attach him, and then use my palette knife to blend him firmly into the pot. I'm going to go ahead and roll up an extra piece of clay and stick it in here between his body and the pot, just to make sure that that is nice and secure in there and that it just looks nice. I just like the way it looks when it's smooth in there on that joint. So now I'm going to go ahead and shape his wings. Once I get one shaped, I just trace it and make another one. I'm going to go ahead and form the feathers on his wings. I want this one to have some kind of feathers that are kind of curvy, and then I'm going to add in additional feathers on the back. Then I find the perfect place to put them on this chicken, and then go ahead and slip and score and attach them, double checking to make sure that they're even on both sides, and they look like they are. So just make sure that those are securely attached and blended in. Now we're going to go ahead and cut his comb on the top of his head. I really wanted this one to be like a spiky mohawk, so putting a little extra time into shaping and sculpting out this particular comb shape. And now I'm going to make his beak. I wanted his mouth to be closed, but I did want to go ahead and keep using two pieces because I just think that that kind of looks better than the one. So now I've got his beak and his comb attached, so I'm going to work on his waddle, which I know in a previous video I said I didn't know what those were called, and I looked it up, and it's called a waddle. And by looked it up, I mean my grandpa told me that that's what they call it, so we're going with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and shape his eyes out. This time I'm using a larger piece of clay around the eye, and then using more of that to create more shape, more three-dimensional shape of the eye. So now I'm going to start figuring out how I want to do his tail feather. I know I want it to be tall. He's going to have some of the longest, tallest tail feathers that I've done yet, because at this point with these rooster sculptures, I'm just pushing the limits of tail feathers to see how far it really can go before it doesn't work anymore. So just a little bit longer this time. I'm connecting them to the inside and the outside, and I'm going to go ahead and use this foam prop to hold them up and let them get stiff. And we'll just refine these, and I'm going to go in here and add some details on his wings, and I'm using this slip pattern on his comb to add some more texture up there. I think that's coming out really nice. So we're just going to add a little more texture up in his face, nitpick and perfect that. And now I'm going to go ahead and carve these long triangular feathers down his neck, and I'm also going to carve those into his wings on both sides. And after I've done enough of those, I'm going to go ahead and get in here and do some detailing on the feathers. Thanks for joining me this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching the process as I sculpted this rooster. I really like how he turned out. I think it's a really good use of texture in this one. So if you'd like to see a weekly art video, you can subscribe to this channel, Blue Nose Trading, and if you think this rooster is pretty awesome, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next week.